Hello and welcome to my Facebook page. I want to run EastEnders. If you've read the bio on the page, you'll know what all this is about. I believe that EastEnders has been running to the ground for the past decade or even more now. I believe the show has been in desperate need in major surgery, just like Phil Redmond and ITV did with Emmerdale back in 89-90. And look at the show now. Now, who am I? What right have I got to think that I can run EastEnders? An ordinary Joe. My name's Mike, by the way. Pleased to meet you all. An ordinary Joe who has no connection to the industry. What can I do that's better than what Dominic Treadwell Collins has done, an experienced man like Brian Kirkwood's done, and so many more? EastEnders used to be an amazing show. We know that. We know it was compelling and it was exciting. It was the most... When it first landed, it was pioneering. The way they wrote it, the issues we used to see, the two-handed scenes, the pace of the dialogue was something this country never saw on their TV screens. In fact, it's something that we haven't really seen on American TV screens still. It was revolutionary, it was exciting, it was a soap where the villains won. And it was more than that. It dealt with social issues. It dealt with things that no other TV channel had the guts to deal with. And that's including Coronation Street, Crossroads, Emmerdale Farm, as Emmerdale was called back then. They were just slow-paced soaps, but EastEnders was 100 miles per hour, and it was compelling. EastEnders is no longer EastEnders anymore. You know that, and I know that. It's no good pretending, even if you're a delusional fan who can't accept that. It is a show that's not even worth our time anymore. So why do we watch it? Why do we care? Because it's EastEnders. We know how good it can be. And this is where I come in. The BBC don't seem to have any idea how to run the show. Now, you probably think this is not a great way to charm prospective employers. Obviously, the BBC would be that. Now, if I had the money and the influence, I would buy the EastEnders franchise and mould it to what I want to do. But I can't do that. The BBC will never sell it. And I have not got the contacts or financial power to do that. So I have to compromise with the BBC. We have to discuss what happens next. My campaign to change EastEnders, to give it the major surgery that it needs to happen, and it needs to happen soon. I've been banging my head against a brick wall for a very long time. On Twitter, I have direct messages. On Facebook, I have inboxes begging me to push harder to save EastEnders because the people are just disgusted in how it's being run. EastEnders, like all the BBC shows, belong to you. You are the licence fee payer. It's yours. You have a right to have a say how something's made, what direction it goes in. Now, this is my idea to give EastEnders the major surgery it needs. My idea is simple. That Chrissy Watts, who used to be played by Tracy Ann Oberman, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to give you a reminder what this page is all about, that she's been in jail. And while she's been in jail, she's been moulding together a crime syndicate, planning on the day when she gets out so she can take over organised crime in Walford. Now, around Walford, people have been hearing about the Black Widow crime gang. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows who the Black Widow is. It's a big mystery. Of course, Chrissy Watts is the Black Widow, and she's been pulling the strings from jail. All of a sudden, another crime gang called the Crusaders start stepping on Chris's organised crime. And this crime gang, the Crusaders, is run by Aaron Wilmot Brown, grandson of James Wilmot Brown. Now, older, more loyal EastEnders fans will know who Aaron Wilmot Brown is. Not that you've ever heard of him, but you've heard the surname Wilmot Brown. That's James Wilmot Brown's grandson, as I've created him. As Chrissy comes out of jail, as she bribes officials in Walford, because she literally owns Walford now with what she's done, she manages to get an early release from jail. She comes out. There is a major shootout in Albert Square between the Crusaders and the Black Widow gang. Many innocent residents of Walford and Albert Square are killed. Now there's a reason for that, isn't there? To get rid of the weak links in EastEnders. Because EastEnders has been so badly run over the years. We've had weak character after weak character. Now a weak character doesn't equal a weak actor. A weak character equals two things. Not so good writing and not so good character development, and also not casting the right people in the roles, because I believe with soaps the actors need something inside to kind of inject into the characters as well. It's not just about the acting. And EastEnders have been getting their casting wrong for a very long time. So as this big event happens and this big shootout happens and people are injured in Albert Square and die, this big crime war begins between Aaron Wilmot Brown and Chrissy Watts. And then we see the other players come together. Who we keep in the show, of course, that's a big thing. One thing I would love to do, if this impossible dream happened, is to keep Danny Dyer as Mick Carter, to keep Linda Henry as Shirley. I think they will be two important players, and there's so many things you can do with them. That's the crime. As we see the Carters now, they've become nothing more than a comedy show. Linda's rape, an absolute farcical mess. They've destroyed Dean's character. The character makes no literary sense, does he? Any writers out there, you tell me if Dean makes sense. He's a rapist, but they kind of want us to like him still. He's kind of dating Roxy, but now he's going to become a bit of a psychological woman beater. I mean, I don't get it. I don't know where to stand with this character. Do I hate him? Do I not hate him? It doesn't make sense to me. I want to like Dean. The actor who plays him is very likeable. They've messed up the character. I love villains. I love compelling stories where someone's good, then bad, and maybe rejuvenates himself to be good again. It's not about this. They've ruined it. That's my idea. So this crime war will be the front and centre of the EastEnders story, but it will still be a soap, with the soapy stories being the backdrop of the show. Now, I've got lots of ideas that will cement what's going, but this will change EastEnders forever. This concept, you'll say this is not EastEnders, but I believe this is more EastEnders than EastEnders is now. This will give us gripping, gritty, compelling stories. It will be violent, which EastEnders used to be. It will be compelling emotionally. Now, I've only got 10 minutes to do a video. I've got about 2 minutes to go. I can't explain to you the whole thing, but if you're excited about this, spread the news, bombard the BBC with it. Because, as I've said in my past videos, a long time ago, I'm not giving up on this. I want to do this. EastEnders is dying a long, painful death. They keep on bringing back old characters after old characters. Look at Kathy now. And Kathy's return has been so shabbily done. Last night, the last 10 minutes, we had Ian about to kill himself, which was brilliant. But the rest of it with the Carters was messy. It was awful. It wasn't funny. I don't like Elaine. Elaine is not a legendary EastEnders character like Mr. Treadwell Collins has tried to infer. He's failed. He hasn't done what he promised. He has lied to fans, basically, allegedly, which what he said he would bring to EastEnders. He hasn't done it. But we mustn't just shine the light on Mr. Collins' face or Mr. Kirkwood's face, who's doing legendary stuff now on Hollyoaks, proves he's a talent. We have to say to the BBC, you cannot lazily run this show as cheaply as possible as you're doing. This show deserves to be epic, to be the very best, the very forefront of British drama. And you are letting EastEnders down. You are letting its original creators down, Tony Holland and Julia Smith. They deserve better. I want to go to the BBC. I want to read Tony and Julia's original concept so I can get the idea of what they were trying to do. I know. I've seen EastEnders. I know EastEnders. I know what Tony and Julia, what they wanted. I've heard them speak. I've seen them in interviews before. I'm interested in all that. That's why I'm a writer. That's why I'm passionate about this industry. But I've got no connections to do this. I've had actors tell me over on Twitter it's a great idea. Even Tracy Ann Oberman, who used to play Chrissy Watts, was kind of impressed how I planned it all out. But actors can't help me. People in the BBC can. Please help me save EastEnders. It's ours. We have a right to save it. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening.